Welcome, everybody. Trainwreck Podcast. This episode is going to be nothing but WWE content. We know the NFL championship games are going on right now. The Lions and the 49ers are currently tied at 24. Chiefs already beat the Ravens, but Zach's not going to be here, and I know he really wants to talk about the championship games. So we're going to save that for later in the week. And plus, this week was filled with WWE news from very positive to very, very, very negative. So that's going to be the main topic of discussion tonight. Mr. Allergies is here with me as he just muted his mic.
Hey.
And then, if the 49ers win, I may believe it's all scripted too. Come on, miss this kid. And he made it. 49ers take the lead for the first time in this game. But yeah, Drew, how are you doing today, buddy?
Yeah, all right. Could be better, Chiefs lost and 49ers are losing, but,
So how does it feel to know that the Chiefs are going to play a playoff game in the Raiders Stadium before the Raiders?
Pain. This is nothing but pain.
I'm saving my victory lap for when you both are here. I saw that tweet and I was like, okay, I got to tell him that. It's too fucking funny. But, dude, along with the NFL championship games this week, we had WWE announcing that they have signed a 10-year, $5 billion deal with Netflix that could potentially go up to 20 years. So after 5 years, WWE or Netflix has the option to pick up Monday Night Raw for an additional 10 years, which if I'm reading it correctly, that means they would be on Netflix for 20 years. I saw some people saying it's 15, but the way I interpret it's 20. So that means, that's a long fucking time. I thought Netflix was kind of on its way out a few years ago when everybody started launching their streaming services. You had like ESPN Plus, HBO Max, Disney Plus all launched within like a few months of each other, and all the content started to leave Netflix and go to the streaming services that originally made the content. So I was like, oh man, Netflix is kind of like Blockbuster. It started the trend, and the trend's gonna die now because of them, but they're actually holding on pretty strong. And this is going to really help increase their subscriber base. The only thing that doesn't make sense in this deal for me is apparently they are not going to air commercials during the show, which, for me, that's cool. Who the hell likes commercials? But I'm really wondering how they're going to recoup this $5 billion. And then if the WWE Network eventually shifts from Peacock to Netflix, they're going to have to pay WWE even more money then. It's like, I like for WWE, it's great. For Netflix, I just don't know how much they're going to get a return on investment,
Like they have to have like a payment subscription, like a really cheap payment subscription, like for ads.
Yeah. Well, Netflix already has like a thing with ads, I think, but I think it's like the lowest tier, and it's not really that much of a price difference between the ad tier and the no ad tier, So like a lot of people just pay for the no ads.
Yeah.
Out of all the streaming services we have in our house, Netflix is the one I don't pay for. I pay for ESPN, Disney Plus, Hulu, Paramount, HBO, Sling, like all the other streaming services I pay for. The only one I don't is Netflix. That's the one my mom pays for.
Yeah, I pay for all myself, all the services we have in this household.
Yeah, which is funny because I probably watch the least amount of TV. I watch more YouTube than TV, or listen to more podcasts. Like I was thinking about getting rid of Sling, but the only reason we even have Sling is for live sports.
Yeah.
Like, if basketball ever gets to where I can just watch it, which I know a lot of Thunder games are broadcast on like Bally Sports and stuff like that, but from what I hear, that app's a ripoff, so that's why I haven't subscribed to it. But now with Raw going to Netflix, I may get a VPN and change my location to Antarctica, and then I can watch it all on Netflix. Because internationally, everything's going to Netflix, like the WWE Network, Raw, SmackDown, NXT. That's all going to be on Netflix internationally. The US is the only one where it's like we just get Raw on there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So if you really just want to cancel your Peacock subscription, you could subscribe to Netflix, change your virtual location with a VPN, and you could have all of it in one location. And Netflix is way more user friendly than Peacock.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. But it's a big thing for WWE. It caused their stock to go up like 24%. Then Vince McMahon killed it later in the week. But I was glad. Oh, come on, Lions. Sorry. Did you see that drop?
No, I just saw the Montgomery run.
Oh. I would say I freaking think Kadarius Toney's playing for the Lions now. But yeah, I'm glad I sold that stock when I did.
Yeah. Good thing you did, because what was it, like an hour after you did this, like it dropped like crazy?
Yeah, so we'll go ahead and get into the Vince McMahon stuff because it's probably the main thing everyone's looking for. I was thinking about saving it for the end of the show, but we'll go ahead and get into it. So I had saw a tweet from Sean Ross Sapp saying something about Vince McMahon was about to become big news, and I was like, what is it? And then I started digging around and I saw those court documents, and I was like, okay, we probably need to sell these stocks. And so I was like, okay, I think it's going up. It's going up. I'm like, okay, I'm going to sell it right now. So I did. And then like an hour later, it dropped like 2% once like the mainstream news outlets started to pick it up. So once it went like on the news, I was like, okay, this has to go.
Yeah, I don't blame you, because you let it go, you're pretty much freak yourself over.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to find the court documents so I can read them for the viewers. Okay, so we are going to read these real quick. So some of the things Vince McMahon is accused of are very freaking graphic. He's been accused of basically trafficking this woman around the corporate office building, and apparently he offered her as a negotiation chip when he tried to re-sign Brock Lesnar in 2021. So far as telling the girl that fucking Brock Lesnar was part of the contract. Apparently Brock, I guess they never did anything. The only thing that happened was Brock requested a video of her peeing, which didn't know Brock Lesnar was a golden shower freak. And apparently Lesnar texted back, called her a bitch, and then they were gonna meet up with something that Vince McMahon had arranged, I guess, for them to do the deed and stuff like that. And a snowstorm stopped that from happening. But the craziest part of the story was a story about in Vince McMahon's office, I believe, that he apparently shit on her head during a threesome. Now, who they were having a threesome with is not specified, but the only thing we know is it was another dude. But apparently Vince McMahon had shit on her head and then went to go clean himself up, and her and the other guy continued with what they were doing while she had shit on her head.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Have you not heard about any of this?
No, this is actually my first time. I knew stuff went down, but God.
Yeah. And so, I mean, we know Vince McMahon's really old, but I'm also like, okay, did he shit on this girl's head on purpose, or is he just so old it just leaks out, you know? But I'm also like, how is her head near his ass too, you know? It's like, what kind of fucking weird ass shit is Vince McMahon into? Well, I'll go ahead. We already know what weird ass shit he is into. Also alleged in this lawsuit is that apparently Vince McMahon has dildos that are named after wrestlers, and he names the black dildos specifically after black wrestlers and the white dildos after white wrestlers. And one of the things he's accused of is being too rough with these dildos and causing bleeding and bruising to the down their area. And it's like, God damn, imagine if you're a dude right now and you found out Vince McMahon had a dildo named after you.
You got a purple dildo named The Undertaker.
It's like there's a big black dildo, and he's like, "Get ready, get fucked by Kofi."
Or Omos.
Yeah, yeah, that's what the biggest black dildo is called, is Omos. And then like the tiny white dildo is called James Ellsworth. That's the one that's like this big.
Yeah, that little pill-looking thing.
Yeah. We shouldn't be laughing at because it's fucked up, but it's also like, God, this dude is just a freak, you know?
Yeah.
And then there was one more story. Oh, this one was the one that was purely disgusting about apparently Vince McMahon and another dude who is not named in the lawsuit, but I think we all think it's John Laurinaitis. Apparently how they locked her in a room while people were working in the WWE corporate office and raped her for hours. I mean, this is all happening while John Laurinaitis' wife had brain cancer. He's, you know, a part of this sex ring with Vince McMahon.
Jesus Christ.
And this all comes in a week where WWE has like all-time high news. You know, their stock is amazing. And then 2 days later, this story comes out.
We just hope to God that Triple H is not part of this scandal.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, too. It's like no wrestlers have, other than Brock Lesnar, no other wrestlers have been listed in this lawsuit. And I don't know if Vince would, you know, have the guy that's married to his daughter a part of his weird little sex cult, you know. But if
push past it.
Yeah, I wouldn't either, especially if the dude has dildos named after wrestlers. But if Triple H still knew about it, I mean, that's just as fucked up.
Yeah.
Because there was a board investigation whenever it was alleged that, or not alleged, it was confirmed that Vince McMahon had made hush money payments to women, you know, the thing that got him kicked out of WWE the first time, and it was an internal board investigation. Well, Triple H and Stephanie McMahon were on that board. So it makes you wonder, like, what do they know when they did their investigation, you know?
Yeah.
And, I mean, this is just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, the story's like 4 or 5 days old. So there's going to be more that comes out, especially if this goes to court. There's going to be more coming out. I was talking to my buddy John about this. It's like this woman that's doing this lawsuit, she's the only one who's came forward. And according to last year when it came out that Vince McMahon had made these hush money payments, they said it was to multiple women. And it was in an excess of over $20 million. Apparently Vince McMahon was supposed to pay this woman $3 million. So there's still $17 million unaccounted for. So who the hell did that go to, you know?
Yeah.
I was telling John the other day that it sounds like he might be the wrestling version of Bill Cosby.
Yeah. The wrestling version of Bill Cosby.
And the only reason this stuff is coming out is because Vince McMahon made an initial payment of $1 million to this woman, but didn't pay the other $2 million that was agreed upon with her signing the NDA. So since he didn't pay that, he violated the NDA, and that's why she can come forward with these stories. Which it's like, Vince McMahon is worth over $1 billion. He just sold a bunch of his stocks for $700 million. The motherfucker has $3 million he can pay. So it's like, why the
Yeah.
hell didn't he pay this woman? Vince McMahon is worth $2.8 billion.
It's like bizarre.
But with this, Vince McMahon announced his resignation from the TKO board of directors and his resignation from WWE, which is the second time he's now resigned from the company in 2 years, and this time it looks like he's gone for good.
Yeah.
Because there's not really much. There's no coming back from this.
No, God, yeah, no. His reputation is like gone.
And here's the other thing: whenever those hush money payments got leaked, there was also the thing about Vince McMahon had his house raided by the federal government. Now, apparently, that was in relation to Donald Trump, because Vince McMahon and Donald Trump are friends, and it was with the whole crap that they're investigating Trump for. We won't get into that. Apparently, that was the main reason Vince McMahon's house was raided, but who knows what the government found, because if this goes to court, they can probably get that stuff subpoenaed for a lawsuit, and then it could eventually, because this stuff is like recent years, like the stuff she's alleging about her being raped at the corporate office happened in 2021, so it's only 3 years ago. I don't know what the statute of limitations is in Connecticut, but I imagine it's not like a year or anything.
That's COVID WWE era, is it?
That's what? Says June of 2021, I believe. So that would have been a month before they went back on the road.
Oh, okay.
It's a 5-year limit in Connecticut. I was telling, like I said, me and John, we've been talking about this a lot. I said, the best thing Vince McMahon can hope for is that he fucking dies.
Yeah.
Like, he better hope like this doesn't turn into a lawsuit or potentially turn into a criminal trial, because I mean, from what it looks like Vince McMahon's guilty as fuck, and I mean the best thing he can hope for now is that he fucking dies.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Like there's no turn away from this, and he's pretty much fucked.
Now
he's gonna be somebody's bitch in prison.
Well, if the story comes out that he shits on people's head during sex, then it might keep them away from him. Like, I got a loose asshole, leave me alone.
You know there's some desperate motherfucker living there.
Yeah.
They've been there for 50 years and they see a fresh asshole.
Say they haven't seen a woman in the whole prison sentence, they haven't seen a woman. That's why I'm scared to go to fucking prison. I'm pretty. I say I got these blue eyes, this beard, this cute smile. Yeah, no, that's why I'm terrified to go to fucking prison.
You walking out with a gaping asshole.
Yeah. I'll walk in and go, hey, hello, guys. It's so good to feel this sunshine again.
Hey, bitches.
Yes, queen.
Yes, slay.
Bang, bang, Niner gang. That's usually what gay people say, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or let's go cheese. Well, listen to our Taylor Swift song.
Yeah. I know, we got robbed of a Taylor Swift Eminem Super Bowl. But the conspiracy going around now is that TKO knew this story was about to come out about Vince, and that's why they added The Rock to the TKO board of directors. I don't know if you saw that on Tuesday, but yeah, The Rock is now on the board of directors for TKO, which means he now has pretty substantial power in the world of WWE, which is, I guess it's going to make people a little skeptical, I guess is the word I'm looking for. If Ava Raine starts getting a huge push, The Rock's daughter.
Yeah.
I mean, the day that it came out that he was on the board of directors, the next day it got announced that she's now the new general manager of NXT. And then
I think
Friday,
the biggest reason why They add The Rock to TKO. I think it's pretty much damage control because Rock's pretty much a known face, so people just like The Rock.
The only thing is, I think if they knew something was about to come out about Vince, then they wouldn't have had him at that stock market thing when they rang the bell, because he was standing right next to The Rock. So I think if they knew something was about to come out about Vince, he wouldn't have been there.
Yeah.
But The Rock, it seems like he's just kind of starting to get away from acting, in my opinion. He's really gotten into the business side the last couple years. He, started the XFL. He started his production company. And the thing with The Rock is he's really just like an action guy. He's not known for these deep roles and stuff like that. He's known for being the ass kicker in the movies.
Yeah.
And I think, The Rock's in his 50s now. I think he's getting too old for that stuff. And so now he's kind of moving on to the next phase of his life where it's like, okay, this isn't going to hurt as bad, because the Rock, he's going to be 52 in May.
That's
look how yeah. And look at how winded he got a few weeks ago on Raw, just doing a spine buster and a people's elbow to Jinder Mahal. So I think he's just getting too old to continue to do all this.
But still does that crazy ass workout set, pre-workouts that he does.
God damn, that shit's insane. I had to stop following him on Instagram. He started making me feel bad about myself. I'm like, God damn, this dude's old as shit and still doing this. And meanwhile, I got this fucking beer belly.
Yeah, brother, roll tide.
But along with him being added to the board of directors, he gets ownership of the Rock name. And he also got $30 million in stock.
Nice.
And so imagine he got that stock at $75 a share, and then it went up to $96 a share the next day when that Netflix deal got announced. So it's now probably almost $40 million. Probably, actually, it might be more than that. And either Q1 or Q2 of 2025, they're gonna report over $1 billion in revenue just that quarter. Because that's when the TV rights deals will kick in, and they'll get $500 million from Netflix. They'll get $400 and something million from USA Network, and then whatever the CW deal is. I don't think the money amount ever got disclosed for that. Plus, they would be getting their yearly payment from Peacock, I believe.
Yeah,
and that's not even including live event, merchandise, all the money they make from that. So they could easily report over $2 billion in profits in one quarter. So Q2 of 2025, that's the time to really buy into some WWE stock. Hope Vince McMahon keeps making the stock crash, which that may not be the case now, since it was the one thing that really made the stock crash was Vince McMahon still being on the board of directors, so sponsorships started to be pulled from the company, like Slim Jim and Snickers and stuff like that. And then when it got announced that Vince McMahon resigned, they reinstated their partnerships. Otherwise, the stock would have really tanked. Yeah, if you're listening to me, people, get some TKO stock. Actually, Monday would probably be the time to buy it, because they're going to have their Q1 earnings call on Thursday, and I bet you it goes up after that. And because now that Vince McMahon's disassociated with the company, I don't think that's going to really affect the stock anymore.
No, they're pretty much separated by now.
Yeah. Now, the only thing that's probably going to hurt him is if he ends up being forced to cash out his stock, because he still has hundreds of millions of dollars in stocks. That's the one thing that you guys would have to look out for, is if he sells, it's going to crash.
Yeah.
But speaking of stocks, with The Rock getting $30 million in stocks, this motherfucker better wrestle Roman Reigns next year at WrestleMania. If he basically just got $30 million, he better have more than one match. I don't want to see just him and Roman Reigns. Hell, I want The Rock to take on the whole bloodline and then get to Roman Reigns if this motherfucker's getting $30 million.
Yeah,
And
I
that,
agree.
and that includes
that'd
Sami
also
Zayn.
be a cool storyline too.
Yeah. Like if he's like trying to reinstate himself as the head of the table, so he goes through the whole family.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be badass. Yeah, think about it. There we go. We just booked your whole next year WWE. He can face Jay at SummerSlam, Jimmy at Survivor Series, Solo at the Royal Rumble, and then Roman Reigns at WrestleMania next year. Speaking of the Royal Rumble, Cody Rhodes did it for the first time in I think 27 years. First person to go back to back in Royal Rumbles. First person since Stone Cold Steve Austin to do it, and the way WWE booked it was very smart, having Punk and Cody be the final two, because you were like, either of them could win, honestly.
Yeah. It wasn't really predictable, actually.
Yeah, like the men's Rumble, it was all right. I actually thought the women's Rumble was really fucking good. I don't know if you got a chance to go back and watch it, Drew, but it was a really good fucking Rumble, the women's.
Did I call Bayley to win? I'm pretty sure I did.
I think so. That was my prediction, too. It was Bayley. But she entered at the number 3 spot, went, I think, 62 minutes, last eliminating Liv Morgan, which Liv Morgan now has finished second place in the Royal Rumble 2 years in a row. I think last year, I think Liv was the number 2 entrant, right? Wasn't it her and Rhea that kicked off the match?
So.
Yeah. Yeah, so last year she went the distance. This year she entered at number 30. But it was the first time Liv Morgan had been seen on TV in 6 months because she was nursing a shoulder injury. And I'm like, how WWE booked it was really smart on that too, because it was like Liv eliminated Jade and then immediately got eliminated by Bayley. And the crowd likes Bayley, but they also really like Liv Morgan. So I like how they immediately eliminated her after that. That way there couldn't have been any like tension built up. You know, you had Jordan Grace from TNA in the freaking Rumble, the TNA Knockouts champion. And she was in there for 20 minutes. And yeah, that was actually the biggest shock of the night to me. Because I know who Jordan Grace was, but I couldn't remember like where she wrestled. And it wasn't until I saw the TNA championship around her race, I was like, oh shit. And then I remembered, oh, she just beat Naomi for the belt. And Naomi made her return to WWE for the first time in almost 2 years. She'd been killing it in TNA the last couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, they were smart than Women's Royal Rumble.
Now with Naomi, I was saying in my Rumble surprise video that the only problem I see with Naomi now is where does she go from here? You know, it's like she gets this big return, but what is the story for her for WrestleMania? And what I think it's going to be is, since her husband is on SmackDown, she's going to be on SmackDown. Well, Charlotte tore her ACL, and it looked like the direction for Charlotte was going to be a match with Bianca Belair at WrestleMania. What if instead of that, since Charlotte won't be at WrestleMania, we get Naomi versus Bianca Belair? I think it'd be a high-profile match for both women.
Yeah.
And with how athletic both of them are, it'd be a really damn good match, and it'd be a good... Because, like I said, like Naomi comes back, and then she would lose all the momentum if she doesn't have like a match at WrestleMania. And WrestleMania is 2 nights; they could easily find a spot for them.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it'd be a really fun match to watch, and not only that, like kind of like boost the views for the women's matches.
And then the other big surprise in the match was Jade Cargill entered at number 28, and she's finally out of the minor leagues. I don't think she's going to be on the main roster. I think this was just like a special appearance for her, you know, because from what I hear, she's still in training at the Performance Center. She may debut like at the Raw or SmackDown after the WrestleMania, I think, just because she's another case where I don't see like a big WrestleMania match planned for her.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, seeing her lift up Nia Jax, that was fucking cool.
Yeah, that was insane.
And then you had Roxanne Perez and Tiffany Stratton, both from NXT, enter the match, so they were surprises as well. And they both looked pretty good. But like I said, Bayley, I think she's going to end up challenging Io Sky at WrestleMania. Now, the men's side didn't really have that many surprises. The first surprise of the match was Andrade, who's also out of the minor leagues now, entering at number 4. And they didn't use his original music from when he was in WWE. They used something different, and it sounded like shit, honestly. So he didn't really get that big of a reaction until he took his mask off, and then people were like, Andrade,
Yeah.
But I'm glad he's back. Andrade is a Triple H guy. He's going to do very successful this time in WWE. I think Vince McMahon liked him. He put the U.S. Championship on him, had Rey Mysterio put him over a bunch of time, and I think he kind of fell out of favor with Vince. Triple H, he's going to book Andrade like a star. Then the other surprise was Braun Breaker from NXT. From the reports that I was reading, it looks like Braun Breaker took Brock Lesnar's spot in the Royal Rumble, which is a good spot for Braun, honestly. And, with the news of Brock Lesnar being named in that lawsuit against Vince McMahon, there was no way they could put Brock in the Royal Rumble. And now it kind of looks like Brock's WrestleMania plans might be in danger as well.
Yeah.
And then
Triple H is pretty much pull anything and everything away from Brock.
Yeah, because like I said, WrestleMania is pretty much sold out anyway, so it's not like Brock Lesnar's going to move that many tickets,
Yeah.
Let the legal process play out. Hopefully, nothing else comes out about Brock, and then he can come back and he could face Gunther at next year's WrestleMania. It's not like Lesnar, all that muscle is going to disappear.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the last surprise of the men's match, which, like I said, there wasn't that many surprises. Pat McAfee entered at number 22, lasted 38 seconds, and got eliminated by himself.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Yeah, I loved having Pat McAfee on commentary. I mean, him and Michael Cole and Corey Graves on top of that, they're a great combo. And, I mean, Pat McAfee's a huge wrestling fan, so it's amazing to have him on there.
Yeah.
One person that was not on the commentary team, though, was Kevin Patrick, because it got announced on Wednesday that he was fired from WWE. Michael Cole filled in for him on SmackDown. They haven't officially named a replacement for him. I really want it to be Vic Joseph from NXT. I don't know. The only problem I have with Vic Joseph is him going, "Ah!" after big moves and stuff like that. But he's a good announcer. I really liked him when he first got called up on Raw, and I guess the only person who didn't like him was Vince McMahon, and Vince McMahon isn't there anymore. So I think Vic Joseph would do very well on the main roster, especially paired with Corey Graves.
Yeah, I agree.
Either that, or you could call, if Vic Joseph's only comfortable calling shows with Booker T, you could have Booker T and Vic Joseph call SmackDown, and then move Corey Graves over to Raw, and you can have Michael Cole, Corey Graves, and Wade Barrett. I mean, that's a possibility as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some moves they can make there, and I mean, I don't know who they have in training to potentially call NXT, or if Vic Joseph would ended up calling both shows. Or maybe they would move Byron Saxton to NXT, because I know he's done play-by-play work before. Or I think there's another dude who calls that NXT Level Up show. I've never watched an episode of that show, but maybe they would move him to NXT. But what do you think about Kevin Patrick being fired?
To be honest, I was kind of expecting it, to be honest.
Me too. I've heard, this guy Blake Howard, that's who calls NXT Level Up, him and Byron Saxton. So I've never heard this do commentary before. But with Kevin Patrick, like, he's just not a good wrestling announcer. It sounds like he's calling a tennis match, Like, his voice doesn't provide that much excitement, It doesn't sound
boring.
it doesn't sound like he like gives a lot of energy. Like, hell, us just doing this podcast, we talk louder, put more presentation in our voice. With him calling a show that has, over 2 million people watch it every week. Yeah, it's a boring style. It sounded like he was reading you a bedtime story.
Yeah, that's the best way to describe it.
And from what I know, he is a wrestling fan because I heard him on that After the Bell podcast with Corey Graves, and he was really good on that show. But I've heard him call soccer, and you know me, I fucking hate soccer. I think it's boring. He's an awesome soccer announcer. He gets super excited during that.
Maybe so that's his phone. It's not WWE.
Yeah, so I mean that's the thing. He got fired, but it's not like he still doesn't have another job. He still calls the MLS games on Apple TV, so he's still got a job.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel bad. I don't know if WWE was like his dream job, but I mean, it sucks anytime someone gets fired. Drew, is there anything else you want to talk about in the crazy ass week that's been in wrestling?
I mean, after all of this, Tony Khan is still more scumbag than Vince.
What was that?
Said after all of this, Tony Khan is still worse than Vince McMahon.
Really? I mean, Tony Khan's not a fucking rapist, Yeah, I'm not gonna say that, but I will say Tony Khan is still fucking annoying, and he's gonna start poking fun at this shit.
Yeah.
Even though apparently he's been harboring Chris Jericho, which that's the thing. Like, a couple years ago or a couple months ago, he was making fun of Vince McMahon's hush money payments, and then the Chris Jericho stuff came out and made Tony Khan look really bad. So it's like if Tony Khan makes another like joke about Vince while he still has Chris Jericho on TV, it's not like they haven't taken Chris Jericho off TV. He's still on the shows. Then I'll say Tony Khan is a fucking asshole and really fucking tone deaf.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I wouldn't say, like, as a wrestling personality, yeah, he's worse than Vince McMahon. As a human, he's definitely better than Vince. But as a businessman, he's a fucking idiot. Because it's not like his millions came from himself, He got all of his money from his dad.
Yeah. His dad, the owner of Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah. Which I think his dad invented, like, the muffler or something like that. I remember Cody Rhodes doing it in one of his promos in AEW, said he invented something, and that's how he got rich. What the hell did he invent?
Probably that mustache.
No, I think that was long before him. I think he's bringing it back. Damn, 73 years old. He don't look like it.
Well, he's been taking care of himself.
Yeah, but hell, he's almost as old as Vince. And look how bad Vince looks. But this dude has more money than Vince. So the Super Bowl matchup is going to be the Kansas City Chiefs versus the San Francisco 49ers. Brock Purdy, the third youngest quarterback ever to start a Super Bowl.
Lamar Jackson had one job, and he fucked it up.
I never want to hear, like, it's going to piss me off that Lamar Jackson's probably going to win the MVP when Dak Prescott gets way more shit than Lamar Jackson. They basically, like, Lamar Jackson has the same playoff record as Dak with worse numbers. I don't want to hear a damn thing about Lamar being better than Dak.
It's not like the Chiefs got an elite defense.
They do, though. I mean,
and it's good, but no, like, Lamar should have won, basically.
I mean, other than those two big plays, one to Zay Flowers and
If Aiden O'Connell could pretty much destroy that defense, Lamar could have.
but O'Connell didn't though. He didn't even throw a touchdown in that game. He didn't even complete a pass after the.
That's right. That's our defense.
Yeah, yeah. It's like he didn't even complete a. What the fuck are you talking about?
Oh no, the shot's kicking in, all right.
Yeah, I'm like O'Connell didn't even complete a pass after the first quarter.
Still better than Lamar.
Yeah, I didn't think the Ravens were gonna win. Like the Ravens basically got lucky that they played a rookie quarterback. If they would have played any other team last week, they would have lost. Guarantee that.
Dude, they peaked way too early in the season.
Yeah. Like their peak was beating the 49ers on Christmas Day. And then after that,
I feel sorry for Detroit fans.
They're going to be back next year, though.
Oh, yeah.
Like Detroit, I bet you probably is going to be like the third favorite to win the Super Bowl next year.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure both their corners could be leaving for a head coaching job.
I don't know. There's only 2 spots left. And, I mean, you got to think Bill Belichick's going to get a job with the Commanders, right?
Maybe.
I mean, if the other 2 head coaching jobs fill up, then, and it's not Bill Belichick, Jerry Jones, you need to fire Mike McCarthy and immediately hire Bill Belichick. Like, because I don't think the Seahawks are going to fight, or they're going to hire him. But then again, imagine having Pete Carroll and Bill Belichick in the same office. God, that'd be insane. But I really think Washington's the only place for Bill now. And then I think
Bill came from the Bill Parcells tree.
Yeah, he did, because he was Parcells' defensive coordinator during those 2 Super Bowls. Like all in all, I think Bill Belichick has been to like 11 Super Bowls. I think he's went to 9 as a coach and then 2 as a coordinator.
That's insane.
Yeah, and he's won 8. Yeah, actually, he's been to 12 Super Bowls, and he has 8 rings. 6 of them as a head coach. Only thing is, like, I don't think he would make Washington better if he went there. Like Washington, just as a whole, they're still a long way away from being good. Yeah, man, I'm looking at the Lions free agent list. Like, the biggest name I see is Gardner Johnson.
They need to get rid of him.
Yeah, I was gonna say he sucks.
He sucks. He's too much of a headache.
Donovan Peoples-Jones, like, yeah, there really isn't like there's really no one like that big that's going to be a free agent. So they can basically lose nobody and then, build their team through free agency and the draft. I mean, the Lions are a young team. Only thing is their division next year is going to be competitive because the Packers are good and the Packers aren't losing anybody either.
Yeah, that's if they show up again.
Yeah. And then, I mean, yeah, Jordan Love could easily have a sophomore slump. And then you got, what's his name? You got the Bears. The Bears are still going to suck, but they might be a little bit improved. And then the Vikings, I think it just depends if Kirk Cousins comes back, honestly. If Cousins doesn't come back, I think they're going to be like a 5-6 win team.
Were they flirting the idea like trading Justin Jefferson?
I saw that. I think they would next year if they couldn't get him signed to a long-term extension. So I think next year is when his contract's up. Because he was a first-round pick. Yeah, so next year would be the last year on his contract. So I was reading like maybe they would trade him like in the middle of the season next year for a couple picks, Either that or they might try franchise tagging him next year, but a franchise tag for a wide receiver is pretty expensive.
Do you see where Kevin Warren went?
Yeah, Philadelphia.
Yeah. That's going to be interesting to see. We're pretty much watching the downfall of Philadelphia.
It's a great thing. We might finally have back-to-back division winners next year. I think Ashlyn's mom just called me gay.
No, that's funny.
Because last night at the restaurant, yeah, she definitely just called me gay. So last night at the restaurant, they had these things. They were called cock-a-doodle-doo shrimp. And Ashlyn's like, do you want to get that? And I'm like, I'm not eating anything that has cock in its name. And then I got a lemon drop drink because my friend Pantera always tells me that they're good.
Oh, yeah, lemon drops are amazing.
Yeah, and I guess that's why she's called me gay. I can't believe I just got called gay on my own show. And it wasn't by you.
I know, surprising.
I know, apparently, Ashlyn told Crystal about how I wouldn't eat the cockadoodle shrimp because it had cock in its name. And Crystal goes, he flirts and jokes around with boys all the time. Why the fuck wouldn't he eat that? And I said, what I do on the weekends is my business.
Listen here, bitch.
Yeah.
The wig's calling off.
I'm like, I'm going to identify as a woman so I can beat your ass. All I'm saying.
Don't go from Cody to Caroline here quick.
I need to create like a big wrestling group chat on Facebook with all my wrestling friends. There's like trying to send a screenshot to like 6 different people. It's a pain in the ass. Like, especially this week when there was so much fucking news, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, I sent it to you, I sent it to TJ, sent it to Derek, Willie, John, JC, who else do I know that's wrestling fans? Like, apparently, I just found out he's the wrestling fan. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know he was. And then Taylor, they used to work in electronics. She's a wrestling fan. So it's like I'm sending all this shit to 7 different people. I'm like, I'm just going to make a giant group chat. But hopefully we don't have a... Like, if we have a news week that's this crazy, hopefully it's something like that doesn't put a black eye on wrestling, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because usually when it's this crazy of a news week, it's usually when a bunch of people get fired. And like I said, before the Vince stuff, it was a huge news week, and then the Vince stuff just took it to another freaking level.
Vince's like, you want me to see you ruin these dogs? Abracadabra.
Okay, Cody, you want me to cost you a lot of money? I can't believe I just got called gay on my own show. I'm just saying that because I know she's going to listen to this later.
It's okay, Pookie Bear Snookums. I got you.
You're not helping.
We'll have our cockatoo shrimp and our lemon drop drinks later.
No.
We'll be each other's toenails on top of our problems, all right?
You about made me rage quit. See what happens when Zach isn't here to keep us in line.
For real.
Zach, quit your job. You're a full-time podcast host now. It's like the job doesn't pay anything, but we need you to keep us in line. Yeah. But heck, at least with the Super Bowl now, the people that were talking about that conspiracy about the logos don't get to talk about it anymore. God, I was tired of hearing about it.
Put your tinfoil hats away.
God. Like I said, people, if you think the NFL is scripted, and Drew, I know the 49ers won, but it's not scripted.
Oh, I just did that for a joke.
I know. I was joking with you. But people that think the NFL is scripted, you're dumb. Like, you're taking one interview that a dude whose whole life is conspiracy theories and Arian Foster, you're taking one thing he said in an interview and you're thinking the league is scripted. It's like Arian Foster also thinks the Earth is flat. The NFL is
flat. Then how's my ass this big?
I don't know.
Liberal.
Yeah. Plus, he's vegan too, so how much can you really believe from him? I know. Who's got the worst case of CTE right now? Antonio Brown. Actually, it's Antonio Brown. I was going to say, there's a few players we can name off, but it's Antonio Brown.
Yeah. Yeah, here pretty soon. Vince McMahon.
I don't know if you follow Antonio Brown on Twitter, but he always calls people crackers, and it's actually really fucking funny. And he posted a photo of him and Ben Roethlisberger, and he just said, I miss this cracker. Oh, here's something from Barry McCockiner. The last time the 49ers and Chiefs played in a Super Bowl, a global pandemic happened shortly thereafter. This is why I'm refusing to leave my basement. Start stocking up on your toilet paper now, guys.
Don't you say that. You motherfucker. I went through hell that one time. I want to go through it again.
Grab your zinc, grab your toilet paper, grab your mask. Hey, I'm actually looking forward to us going through a shutdown again because it was really awesome to go to restaurants and no one be in there.
For real.
Yeah. Actually, there wasn't that bad of traffic either.
Traffic was good. Restaurants were good. You see, pretty much for Republicans, like hardcore Republicans, like these damn liberals and these masks. It's always entertaining.
Yeah. Fuck it. Last time we went through it, we had an election coming up. We're about to have another election coming up. Fuck it.
Fuck it with ball.
Yeah. Bring on the COVID. I said, honestly, I wouldn't mind it. Like I said, I like less traffic and less busy restaurants. Maybe I could finally get a seat at Texas Roadhouse without having to wait for 2 hours. Actually, last night when we left Buffalo Wild Wings, that Texas Roadhouse that just opened, it didn't look crowded at all.
Really?
Dude, I was thinking like, fuck, why didn't we go there? But Drew, I think we're out of topics. I think we're just bullshitting now. Anything you want to talk about before we sign off?
Fuck Chiefs, fuck 49ers. I'm looking for the offseason.
I know. This is I'll root for the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl, but it's honestly a lose-lose situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I root for the fucking 49ers.
I said, we'll do a great debate next week. You two going for the 49ers, me going for the Chiefs. I know last week we kind of got chippy with Patrick Mahomes' contract, and I was thinking, like, shit, we're turning in the first take. But then I'm like, well, shit, that's what draws ratings. We just all got to find a sports opinion we're on the opposite side of and scream at each other.
What the fuck are you talking about, Kelly? Patrick Mahomes is literally the worst quarterback in the league.
And I'll be like, he is the fucking GOAT. I say,
Brock Purdy is a future Hall of Famer. He is not a system QB.
He is a system. He's a system QB. He's a system QB.
Second coming of Tom Brady.
No,
better than Dak Prescott.
No, if Jimmy, no. If Jimmy Garoppolo can succeed in Kyle Shanahan's offense, every quarterback that's ever been in Kyle Shanahan's offense has succeeded, with the exclusion of Johnny Manziel because he was on fucking crack. Brock Purdy is the definition of a system QB. There we go. We just made our own first take. That was pretty fun, actually. I'll just slam my desk and go, it's my turn! Like Skip Bayless. And that's one of the best memes ever. Actually, I ain't going to say that on the podcast, but I'll say I saw a really messed up Vince McMahon meme, and it had that Skip Bayless, it's my turn thing in there.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so you guys can probably guess what I'm alluding to there. I'm going to hell.
Yeah, I'm right behind you, buddy.
Yeah, we'll be there together. We'll be drinking our lemon drops.
And eating our cockatoo strips.
Okay. That's it. We're ending the show. We're ending the fucking show. I did my first WWE 2K23 live stream. I finally got an Elgato. It's sitting right here. I tried to do a GTA live stream the other night, and the screen kept freezing up on me, so I don't know what the fuck was going on there. Hopefully this Elgato isn't a piece of shit. But tomorrow I'll probably have another WWE 2K23 stream. And maybe me and Drew will stream facing each other on Master Duel sometime.
I'd be so down to do that.
Yeah. Check out the podcast on Spotify, iTunes, because no one listens to us on there. Shout out to the YouTube people. 3 weeks in a row, we've been over 30 views. Where in the last couple of shows, we didn't even break 10. So, had a lot of momentum going on. Thank you guys. We'll see you for the next episode if I don't kill Drew.